Good evening, Canterbury. Welcome to NewsMakers, where we debate the week's big talking points with an opinionated panel. And it's a pleasure to introduce a sporting luminary from Motivationz, Marg Foster, Community Board member Aaron Keown, and Newstalk ZB's morning host, Ellie Jones. Thank you very much for joining us.
No problems, Mike.
Pleasure.
We have a juggernaut of justice issues to kick about. First up, the sentencing of Taito Philip Field, 6 years in the can for bribery, corruption and perverting the course of justice. Was this just desserts for the crook, Ellie?
No, he should have got more. He should have got... What I did like about this case is that he's serving his sentences consecutively, and there's not enough of that goes on, as I'm sure we'll touch on later, Aaron. What I'm most concerned about this is he's an MP, and I think, as the judge mentioned at the time, this is one of those key positions in New Zealand. You know, if we don't trust, and I know some people will be laughing already, our MPs, if we don't believe that they are beyond reproach, we've got a real problem with the foundation of part of, you know, the governance of our country. So that's really important. I think he should have got more. He was found guilty of 11 of 12 charges of bribery, willfully attempting to obstruct or pervert the course of justice. And not only did he do it in the first place, but he then tried to, you know, keep people away from finding out. And he was still protesting his innocence right at the end, clutching a little red Bible. He should have got, I think he should have got more.
A lot of his supporters maintain that there was a media and political conspiracy that brought him down. Do you think there is any truth to that suggestion, Marg?
No, I don't. And I just think that, you know, he shouldn't hide behind his culture as his defence. I think that his jail time's pretty just. When you consider that, you know, you've got people that are going to prison for murdering. I don't know whether it's, you know, like, you know, you look at someone like him and what he's done, but then you look at some of the cases that have been of past, and they've got kind of ridiculously low jail terms. So I think 6 years is pretty, you know, it's pretty good.
Just to play devil's advocate, obviously there is a huge strain on our prison system. Is there something a bit weird about taking up a prison cell for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it may be, for someone who poses no physical threat to society? Aaron?
Well, with Taito, I think you're right about the media feeding on it, because he is a politician. Of course they will always have a go at that, and there's that moral high ground that they're meant to sit on, and of course if they come a cropper they are going to go flying. What should he be doing in that time? There's got to be a lot of other ways around it. You know, maybe he should be working in the prison and he could work his time off, and he will get bail, or he'll get parole, because everyone in this country generally does. He'll get it early. 6 years actually means 2. So, but I think he should be working, and like most prisoners should be. But he could, well,
I was wondering, I heard a rumour that, yeah, Paparua's got a tiling contract up for tender.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, but he should be working. He could be doing a lot, because he is an intelligent man and has been a hard worker in the past. But my problem with the case was he got 6 years and he didn't drag someone out of their car and beat them to death. And so there's a huge problem in our justice system.
Can I just say something really
And I'm not
quickly?
sure he'll get consecutive when
Just
you don't
very
like
quickly,
them.
what Margie said, OK, 6 years is not bad because look at what people are getting for murder. I don't think that 2 wrongs make a right. I think that 6 years is too little, and I think 3 years is too little.
OK. Aaron, of course, referred to the case that played out just over a week ago in the Christchurch High Court concerning the sentencing of Kani Matangi, the killer of Aaron's mother, with the manslaughter case. This is the street racer.
I was referring to the one in Auckland with the 76-year-old man that got beaten
right.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, there's lots of them, Mike.
There are indeed. Of course, you were gutted by the sentence, 2 years, 8 months.
Yes.
When you went into the High Court 2 Thursdays ago, what were you hoping for?
Well, I was warned right from the start, don't expect to be happy. It's the justice system. And when the police first visit you and that's your first interaction with the detectives working on the case, it's never a good start. You're on the back foot. And that was almost the first sentence I was told by the police, is don't expect to be happy. And I would have been happy if the guy was doing 8 years jail. You know, I don't want to see him spend the rest of his life in there because he made a mistake, but it was a mistake that was avoidable. You know, my mum's dead because of some deliberate and avoidable actions. And so it should be second-degree murder. New Zealand needs degrees of murder, and the same with that case in Auckland. That guy didn't leave his house to murder someone that day, but He ended up killing someone through deliberate and avoidable actions and should be spending around 8 to 10 years in jail.
Sure. Obviously, this case has also reignited the debate over the remorse factor when it comes to discounts in sentencing. Matangi's lawyer, Alistair Davis, stressed that his client was ashamed and remorseful for the devastation he had caused. Had this fella ever approached you or your family to express remorse or sorrow?
Well, that part of sentencing is a farce because there is no retort from the victim's family or from the prosecutors. So a lawyer can stand up and say whatever he wants at sentencing, and the judge will take it as gospel because the judge then adjusted the sentence, took off a couple of years for remorse in the early guilty plea.
Yeah, but
no remorse, have never received a letter or an apology.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. His family's never approached us. I actually got abused by his family one time outside court for continuing with the process. Alistair Davis laughed at me at court one time when they won the day. He walked out of court having a chuckle to himself. I went to the Law Society and asked if defence lawyers are allowed to laugh at victims' families. Yes, they are. That's not against the law.
Okay.
So, no, it is a joke. And you can say whatever you like, no remorse shown, not an early guilty plea. Otherwise, he would have admitted it a year ago and this would have been done and dusted.
Well, yeah, that's an
So
interesting
no
point.
early guilty plea either.
We had this travelling. If you saw on TV about 8 weeks ago, there was a judge who came over from California, and he was the most amazing guy to be interviewed. And he mentioned about how, and he's like a smiling assassin. He was just saying that they sort of said, look, the scenario was this guy who was continually, he was a paedophile basically, and he just smiled and he said, the guy will be never coming out of prison again. I've given him 50 years plus 50 more, and he was just smiling like, it's 100 years. And I was just going, wow, this is quite amazing that our system is just so
foreign.
Kind of, frustrating
Why
that
would you take time
respect.
off for remorse, but not add time on for no remorse shown? That's the other thing with this.
Should time come off for remorse?
A couple of weeks.
Right.
It's
No, I don't think so, Ali, because the sentences are light. So forget your couple of weeks. You're right. You should be adding time for no remorse, adding time for no early guilty plea. The sentences are light anyway. Crikey, 14 years for murder, like a Clayton Weatherston. You can hack someone to death and not be spending the rest of your life in jail.
Dare I say it?
It's remorseful too. Like they write a letter. I mean, what? Oh, you might get off a little bit early if you write a letter. I mean, how do you measure remorse?
All right. Dare I say it, the day will probably come in New Zealand where you get a discount for actually turning up to court.
Oh, that's inevitable, Mike.
Yeah. All right. Coming up, we'll have a look at some local issues, including home help, skate parks, and bus priority. Do stay with us.